Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, I will be discussing all you need to know about US clinical experiences, aka USCE. This is probably the most requested video, and I understand the confusion because exactly an year ago I was in the same shoes. I remember I was preparing for my step 2 exam, and back in my mind I knew that as soon as I'm done with the exam, I need to go to the US, complete my USCE, but I had no clue as to where to go, what places to apply to, which ones to select, what is inpatient, what is outpatient, what are observerships, should I go for observerships at all or not. It was really confusing, but I'm glad everything worked out well for me in the end. I was really fortunate that I got a chance to complete my USC from really good hospitals and universities. So in this video, I'm going to share everything that I know about USC through mine as well as my colleagues' experiences. Okay, so jumping straight into the video, what is USC and why is it important? So for absolute beginners, US clinical experience simply means that you go to US and work or observe physicians in the US healthcare system as a part of your work experience. Now, is it really important to do it? So for that, there is no hard and fast rule that says that you have to do it in order to match into US residency system. But given how competitive the process is, it has become really uh, important for applicants if they need to match into good places. Think of it from the program's perspective, right? It is no hidden fact that US healthcare system works a little differently, and it is natural to have some differences in how things work in each country. And so the programs really appreciate and, in my opinion, feel more confident about an applicant if he or she has spent some time in the system and worked there, right? So coming on the second question, what are the types of USCE? So mainly you can categorize them into two types, hands-on and hands-off. So in hands-on, there are three categories: sub-internship, clinical elective, externship. And for hands-off, there are mainly two categories, observerships and telerotations. All of these things can either be inpatient or outpatient, right? So covering each of them one by one. So sub-internship is it's very similar to how USMDs have their internship. So it is very similar to that, but it is extremely competitive and almost, next to impossible to grab these sub internships because these are very competitive, and I know only one place which offers them. So Stony Brooks is one institute that I know offers sub internships to IMGs, but then I'm not sure about it. Also, any name I take in this video, these are not my recommendations or endorsements. I am simply mentioning these names because I've heard them somewhere or I know a little bit about these programs, but in no way these are my recommendations. So please use your own judgment and read all the information on their websites if you even plan to apply for these programs. Okay, so clinical electives are typically one of the best kinds of experiences that you can take as a medical student. It simply means that you go there and work in a hospital as a medical student. You're allowed to take care in direct patient care. So you're allowed to take part in taking histories. You're allowed to take part in management of the patients. So basically, you're simply working very closely with the US MDs, right? But in the given scenario, there has a lot of new rules that have come up like VSLO. So getting clinical electives has become really hard for IMGs, and only very few programs offer clinical electives outside of VSLO. VSLO means Visiting Student Learning Opportunities. It is an organization, a part of AMC, AAMC, which sort of have some partnership between universities in the US and some universities in the other countries where there is a direct exchange of students for this clinical electives. I think only 10 universities in my country, India, currently have VSLO membership. So a lot, majority of the places do not have VSLO membership, and hence it has become really difficult to grab these clinical electives. But clinical electives is by far one of the best US clinical experiences that you can grab. I know one place which offers this outside of VSLO. It is University of Miami. And again, I'm not recommending it or endorsing it. If you want, just go there on their website, see all the details if you want to see, if you want to apply for that. But again, it has become really difficult to apply to clinical electives. So externs. So number one and number two, sub-internships and clinical electives, you can apply to these if you are a medical student, if you are not a graduate yet. These are only available to medical students, right? So externships. Externships is very similar to clinical electives, but externships can be applied by medical students as well as a graduate. It does not, you don't do not have to be a medical student to apply to externships, right? So they are very similar. In externships, you're allowed to you're allowed to take part in direct patient care. You're allowed to go see the patients, take part in the management of the patients, right? Usually externships are offered not by hospitals but private clinics. Now, coming to hands-off experiences simply mean that you're not allowed to talk to the patient. You're not allowed to take part in direct patient care. You're simply allowed to go there and observe the residents, the physicians, the fellows, or whosoever is in the team. You go there and just observe and ask direct questions to your superiors, but you're not allowed to take part in direct patient care, right? Telerotations. So, telerotation simply means that you are not in the US. You are observing daily rounds over a Zoom video call or a Google Meet call, and you're simply observing virtually. You're not there in person. Okay, so again, any of these can be inpatient or outpatient, and I have numbered these places in the um, decreasing order of difficulty to grab these opportunities. So telerotations are the easiest to get, then observerships, then externships, then clinical electives, and the sub-internships are the hardest to get. Okay. Okay, so coming to the main question, okay, these are all the options that you told us, but which ones do we select? Observerships versus electives versus externships. Which one do we choose? And are observerships even considered a USCE because you're simply observing, right? You are not taking care a part in direct patient care. So this is something I asked a dozen of people before getting going to my observership, because as a graduate I could not get clinical electives and the only option I had were that of externships and observerships. The biggest confusion regarding observerships is that it is not considered a US clinical experience at all. Well, this statement is both true and false. True because some programs have specifically mentioned on their website that they do not consider observerships as clinical experiences, while a lot of others do seem to understand that getting clinical electives, even for students, is extremely difficult given new rules around VSLO. So they do recognize observerships as clinical experience. Now, speaking with my own experience, it does not matter a lot. If you find good observership opportunities and perform well, you can get a good LOR even in observerships, right? How exactly you can do that is beyond the scope of this particular video, but I'm telling you that it is very, very possible. Uh, yes, having a hands-on LOR or letter of recommendation triumphs the hands-off one, but it is definitely not useless. A physician can gauze and mention a lot of things in an LOR, even if you just went there as an observer, right? So again, which ones to choose? So like I said, if you have an option to go for a clinical elective as a medical student, right? So if your university is a part of VSLO, you don't need to watch this video. They have direct partnership with the US institute, so you can directly go for a clinical electives. It is very, very easy to do that, right? But if your university is not a part of VSLO, getting clinical electives is very hard. However, if you can get clinical electives, then definitely go for clinical elective. Regarding observerships versus externships, I will talk about these a little bit later in the video, but these are almost comparable. Okay. Okay. So step one, how to find USCE? How do you know what places to apply to, and how do you start? So first and foremost, obvious one is ask around. Take help from your seniors, your friends, any remote connections in the US. And if you're getting anything without having to pay for it, take it. Other ways to search are Reddit, social media, see where people are going. And if you see someone who is there in US for their US clinical elective, all you need to know is the name of the place. And I will tell you how you can check how that person got that USC and how you can apply for that one as well. Okay. So the other one is the list of IMG friendly programs. Okay. So, okay. So when you go for any clinical experience and especially observerships, your primary motive is to get a good LOR, impress your attending, and make connections to that place. Okay. Now imagine that place has a residency program which is IMG friendly. Bingo. Now, when you apply for match, you know the residents in the program, you know your attendings, and if you worked hard, these people can vouch for you that okay, we know this person. This person is really hardworking, very knowledgeable, very good to be around. Check his application and probably send this person an invite, right? Uh, so you see what happened here. You not just got a good LOR, you also got an invite. And because you already know the place, you spend probably 4 weeks here, people know you, right? And they are in fact more likely to rank you higher because you are not a stranger to them, they know you well, right? So the moral of story is that it is always good to have your experience from places which have an IMG friendly program if possible, and especially experiences like an observership where you do not have the opportunity to do much, but you can definitely build good connections via observerships. Okay, so cool. IMG friendly programs, that's sorted. Okay, now, but how do you know which ones are IMG friendly? When I was applying to programs a year ago, I could hardly name 5 programs in the first place, right? And I had no idea which ones to select. I did not even know the names of the program. Well, don't worry. I am here. I am attaching a list of programs categorized by the type and IMG percentage. It took me a week to compile this information. Let me open it. Okay. So this is the sheet. Here you see this is a list of 263 programs, and this list took me a week to make. And you see, this is the program name, this is the category, it's a university programs and university affiliated, and these are community programs, and these are the ACGMA codes for these programs. And this is a residency visa. So if these are not for your electives, this is simply if you go there as a resident. So which visas they sponsor. So I only mentioned these for the university programs. And the percentage IMG. So this is very important. You see, some programs have IMG percentage as high as 80%. So try and find these programs from this list. I will attach the link of this list in the description of this video. Go to this list, see the IMG percentage, search the name of the program, and you can, I'll show you how to do that. Wait, just a second. So also, a fun fact, this list can also double up as a very good list to follow when you finally submit your application and apply to programs. And I actually made this list for this very purpose. When I was applying to programs, I wanted to see their IMG percentage and what category the program is. So I made this list for myself. And let me just show you how to exactly use this list in just a few minutes. Okay, so this is sorted. How do you find USC? You ask around people and you have a list of IMG friendly programs. So now that you know how to find USC, the second question is how to apply for these positions, right? So the first one is very simple. You contact the programs through their websites. Okay, you know the name of the program, maybe through some friend or some random person on the internet, or through the list I just discussed, right? So you Google the name of the program along with, so for example, the name of the program is XYZ. So XYZ observership, and find out how to apply for it. Some programs have forms on their website which you can fill. Others mention the email of the observership coordinator whom you can contact. And when you email them, just tell them a little bit about yourself, mention your interest in the program, tell them why you are interested, and then conclude the mail by attaching your well-made resume. For example, let me show you how it is done. So this is the list. I am picking up any random name from the list. Okay, so let's see. Okay, let's do this one. So Marshall University observership. Okay, so you see the first one. Okay, so this is simply the policy. You see the procedure, you see what are the eligibilities, what is the application process, and everything is written here. You can simply use this information and contact them. Okay, let's do it for some other thing. Also, these are strictly examples. I do not recommend applying to these programs at all. I mean, I'm not endorsing these programs. These are some programs that I have personally searched once, and I used the exact formula which I told you earlier. So like say I searched this, sent you Peters University Observership. The first one is Bedside Integrated Observership Program. You go there, you read it. They have put in the FAQs, the application form. They have also put in the email. You can contact this person if you need to. right? Basically, this is how you can apply for observerships. This is one way. Now, the drawback to this process is that a lot of programs either have no information available on their website or do not have any formal observership program where you can apply, or you need a physician sponsor uh, to apply there. So that brings me to my second way, through physician sponsor. Now, when I say physician sponsor, it does not mean that a physician is paying money on your behalf. It simply means that a physician has allowed you to observe or work with him in his capacity, or in simple words, has accepted to be your preceptor for that particular experience, right? But now, how do you find this person? Well, the easy way usually is to get it through a connection. Any seniors who are in the US, any relatives, any friends who can get you in touch uh, with such physicians, and then they can sponsor you, right? Such physicians can either be working in a hospital or may have a private practice, or both. And accordingly, they can either sponsor or invite you to their private clinic for an externship or observership, or if their hospital allows, they can sponsor you for the same at the hospital. So sorry. So this is the easy part. If you have any contacts and they agree to sponsor you, well and good. But the difficult part is approaching such physicians through cold emailing. It's difficult, yes, but not impossible. And you got the program's website, especially the ones which needs a physician sponsor for an experience. You saw someone go there. So whenever you see somebody go to a place, suppose this person went to this XYZ place, there are only two major ways they could have done it. Either they applied on the website and directly went there for their experience, or they went in through a physician sponsor. These are the only two major ways to do it. For the physician sponsor, either they had some contacts with that physician and the physician agreed to sponsor them, or they reached out to that person through cold emailing, and by the stroke of luck, that physician agreed to give be their sponsors. Or maybe there are some agencies which have these physicians which take a certain charge from you to be your physician sponsor. We will talk about these in the later of the video. But coming back on the cold emailing part, it is difficult, yes, but it's not impossible. You can find the physicians on the program's website, which physicians work here. You can find their email ID on the Google if not mentioned on the program's website, and then send them a very nice personalized email, requesting them to sponsor you. I understand that this is a very tiring process, but I have personally gotten a research elective through the same process. You probably will have to send out 100 emails, 100 personalized emails, and probably will get 10 to 15 replies, and maybe 2 to 3 people will accept you. And if you think about that, that is all you need, right? You just need 2 to 3 experiences. That's it, right? So definitely cold emailing can be a good option to reach out if you do not have any contacts. Okay, so now that we discussed all of this, let's discuss some scenarios. Let's take the worst case scenario first. You are somebody who wants to come to US and who is going through the USMLE path but cannot come to US right now because of XYZ reason. Go for telerotations before applying for the match. Having something is better than having nothing at all. So telerotations is mainly offered by the agencies. I personally do not know any program which offer telerotations directly. If you know any program, please do comment and help other people. But yeah, have some experience rather than having no experience at all. And let's take a slightly better scenario. You can come to US, but you do not know anyone here in the US. No relatives, no seniors, nobody. I discussed the 2 points with you here on how you can apply. You have the list. You can go on the website of those programs. You can probably apply to 3 or 4 observerships directly on program's website. Then maybe you can send out some cold emails to some programs that you saw a person going to this program and they do not have any observership information on their website. So like I told, like I discussed, there are only two major ways a person might have applied to this particular program, either through website. If there is no information on the website, try to contact the program coordinator if they offer any observerships. If they say no, we do not have any observership program, but you did see somebody go there for an observership, they probably went there through a physician sponsor. So check out their physicians who are the attendings working here in the hospital. Try sending out personalized cold emails, and probably you can fetch at least 1 to 2 experiences through this process. Let's take a slightly better scenario now. You can come to US and you have some contacts in the US, probably your med school seniors or some relatives or friends in the US, reach out to them. Reach out to everybody you know in the US and request them if they know any physicians, and if they can reach out to those physicians on your behalf or share their contact details. Reach out to those physicians, request them if they can be your physician sponsors. If they have the private clinics, maybe they can call you to their clinics, and you can do your externships at those places. Or maybe if they're working in a hospital and the hospital allows, you can go to those hospitals and do your observerships, right? So, and the best case scenario is that you know a program director personally, or your father is a program director. Then you don't need to watch this video. I will mention my AMC ID at the end of the video. Please do recommend me to your program and maybe help me fetch an invite. Okay. So this is the two major ways, and these are the only two ways I recommend doing, and I recommend applying to programs. The last resort, the absolute last resort, is agencies. And personally, I do not recommend going through this path unless you have a very specific requirement or you are in a very specific, uh, you know, situation. Only then go for agencies, because they are very expensive for the value they offer. Honestly, I have personally not used any agencies, but I do have a lot of friends and colleagues who have probably used all kinds of agencies available, and not even one of them have any positive feedback about those experiences. And most importantly, think of it from this perspective. This is something that my seniors told me, that imagine 25, 30 people per month are coming to a particular place and they're getting their LORs from that place. Okay. So probably those LORs will sound very similar, right? So imagine 30 people are coming to a place, they're getting similar LORs, and probably one person is writing those LORs. And over the year, these around 400, 500 people have gotten the similar LORs from a place. And these people apply to all the programs. So program directors, usually when they see the application, they see the LORs, they know. They I've been asked this question personally in my interviews, that how did you get this particular experiences? And when they see a lot of similar letters from a similar place written by a similar person, same person, it kind of, and they know that this place offers paid rotations, right? This sort of brings down the authenticity of these letters. They know that, okay, you've probably paid for it. All the letters of all the applicants sound similar. So this letter does not really, reflect the actual applicant's qualities. So this is only my personal opinion and the advice that I've gotten from my seniors. So try and avoid these agencies at all. I have shared two very good, legit ways to apply to such experiences, and I believe if you do just a little bit of hard work and just put in a little bit of effort, you can definitely grab at least 5 to 6 opportunities solely through those two methods that I just discussed. And personally, I have used those methods. I was able to grab 6 opportunities. My friends have done it. They were able to grab 5 and 6 opportunities, and it was very doable. It was not like we spent nights searching for the programs. We probably worked 2 to 3 weeks, right? Spend some time every day and find out opportunities, and we were able to do it. So avoid agencies, go for those two methods, and you will find some really good places to work at. Now, I only recommend agencies to you in these specific scenarios. One is you want to go for telerotation, because I personally do not know any programs which offer telerotation. Maybe you can uh, reach out to some of the physicians if they offer telerotations, but again, I don't think anyone does. Uh, Again, the second reason why you should, probably think about agencies is when you don't have time. So if you are going to US in next 2 weeks, suppose, or next 3 weeks, and you want something on an urgent basis, then maybe probably apply to agencies, because going through the other methods that I just discussed, it's going to take some time. So it won't be possible in a very short span of time. And and probably the last is when you have the budget to spend on it and you don't care about your budget, and you are absolutely unable to find anything on your own, which is unlikely, because you will find if you put in some effort. So use agencies if you have any of these three reasons. Now, when to apply for it? So if you are using those two methods that I discussed, I would recommend that you apply at least 6 to 12 months in advance. And also, a lot of places they require you to have step one, because they need some objective criteria, to filter out the applicants for their observership or for the US Clinical Electives program. So ideally, after you're taken your step one and apply 6 to 12 months in advance. Okay. And the last way, so this is something that I just thought of right now and I just remembered. So when you go to a program, okay, and you are doing your observership here, you probably made contacts with residents, yeah, the attendings, and the attendings like you, the residents like you. Then you see, there are some attendings which also have their private offices. So you will find such attendings in a lot of places, in a lot of hospitals. And you go to those attendings and you probably request them that, okay, Dr. XYZ, I am here and I'm completing my observership. I've already completed 2 weeks and I will be concluding that in other coming 2 weeks, in next 2 weeks. And I am applying this year for match and I'm really looking forward to get some US clinical experience. I see that you have a private office and I do not have any planned observerships in the coming months. Would you, I would want to request you, would you allow me to shadow you at your clinic, at your private office? And if you have a good rapport with that doctor, in a lot of cases, they might allow you. So you see, you went to a place and you made a good rapport with that physician, and that physician allowed you to shadow him in his private clinic. So that is how you got your second experience. So this is the third way of how you can get an experience. I personally know a friend who got an experience through the similar process. So he was working in a hospital. He worked with the physician. That physician had a private clinic. He had a good rapport with that physician, and then that physician allowed him to shadow him at his clinic as well. So yeah, that is the third way that you can use to get an experience. So that is it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have more questions, do not hesitate to put them in the comment section below. I will be happy to reply to all those comments. If you have any suggestions for what other videos you would want me to make, I will be happy to make those videos as well. And I shall see you in the next one.